Hey everybody, I am so stoked that you guys are here, that you're joining me for this 6 days of getting rid of our inner critic, because I want you to live the absolute best life possible. And if we listen to that little voice in our head that tries to keep us down, we'll never be able to live the most vibrant, juicy life we can. So that's why we're gonna take the next 5 days now and get rid of our inner mean girl. So yesterday we talked about the things that we say to ourselves that aren't really kind, the things that keep us small and afraid and discouraged. And today we're looking at where we got those ideas and thoughts from. How did we start talking so poorly to ourselves? And I think if you look in your past, when you were growing up, young adulthood, you know, there are things that happen. Stuff happens in life, and there are things that happen that really mess with our self-worth. But if you're having a hard time figuring out why you developed an inner critic, I wanted to give you my personal example, because you don't necessarily have to grow up in an abusive home or be treated really poorly or in poor relationships to have an inner critic. It's just, you know, shit happens. And because we are, you know, very intricate and fragile human beings, we sometimes, you know, develop things in our mind that aren't necessarily truth. So for me, like I said, I didn't grow up in an abusive home. My parents were very loving siblings. I had a great childhood. But when I was young, when I was 2, my parents were divorced. And then when I was about 5, they both remarried. And through no fault of my parents, because it was the best decision for everybody involved, you know, I think whenever a young child experiences divorce and then new families, you know, it's the little brains can't really understand it all. So I think irrationally, my little brain thought, you know, all I knew was my dad left for someone else. And it took me many years to be able to figure that out and to figure out, oh my God, that of course he left. He needed to. That was what he needed to do. And so it took me a while to come to terms with that and not allow that to make me tell myself, oh, you're not good enough, or oh, people are always going to leave you. So that's one thing that, you know, affected, I think, my inner critic and my self-doubt. Like I said, no fault of anybody involved, just a life experience. And then in my 20s, my mom passed away, and, you know, I was already developed. I mean, I was married, and, you know, I was 26. So it wasn't like I was still developing my brain and my body. But she died, and I think anytime we have a loss, anytime we lose a relationship, whether it's through death, divorce, you know, breaking up, moving, I just think it's hard to process that. And sometimes we feel like we were left, even when somebody dies, and it was no fault of my mother's for dying, but it leaves the people that are left feeling like something was wrong with them. You know, why would I get left if there wasn't something wrong with me? So anyway, this is a long-winded video, but I just wanted to give you a couple examples of how my self-doubt developed, and maybe this helps you, you know, look at how yours developed. And now the good thing is, now that we know this, we can move forward. We can put that behind us. We don't have to let that keep us in self-doubt. We can move on. So that's where we'll head tomorrow. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Mwah. We'll see you tomorrow.